There are a few things you should know about Bitcoin if you're interested in getting started. First, Bitcoin allows you to swap money and transact in ways you wouldn't ordinarily be able to. As a result, before utilizing Bitcoin for any important transaction, you should educate yourself. Second, Bitcoin should be handled with the same caution as your conventional wallet, if not more. Hello, this is CryptoNow, and today we're going to take a look at Bitcoin and talk about everything you need to know about it. But first, make sure you subscribe to the channel and switch on alerts so you can be notified whenever there's a new video. So what exactly is Bitcoin? Bitcoin is digital money that runs independently of any central authority or government monitoring. Peer-to-peer software and cryptography are used instead. All Bitcoin transactions are recorded in a public ledger, and copies are stored on servers worldwide. A node is a server that anyone with a spare computer can set up, rather than relying on a central source of trust like a bank. Consensus on who owns which coins is reached cryptographically among these nodes. Every transaction is broadcast to the entire network and shared across nodes. Miners consolidate these transactions into a group known as a block, and add them to the blockchain every 10 minutes or so. This is the definitive Bitcoin account book. Virtual currencies are stored in digital wallets which can be accessed by client software or various internet and hardware solutions, similarly to traditional coins kept in physical wallets. Bitcoin was created as a means of transferring money over the internet. The goal of the digital currency was to create an alternative payment system that was free of central control and could be used in the same way as existing currencies. Bitcoins are now subdivided into 7 decimal places. A milli is 1,000th of a Bitcoin, and a Satoshi is 100 millionth of a Bitcoin. In reality, there is no such thing as a Bitcoin or a wallet. Rather, the network agrees on who owns a coin. When making a transaction, a private key is used to prove ownership of funds to the network. A brain wallet is a concept in which a person can memorize their private key and use it to retrieve or spend their virtual money. Bitcoin, like any other asset, may be exchanged for cash. People can do this on various cryptocurrency exchanges online, but transactions can also be done in person or over any communications network, allowing even small enterprises to take Bitcoin. Bitcoin does not have an official mechanism for converting to another currency. The Bitcoin network is supported by nothing fundamentally valuable. However, since exiting the gold standard, many of the world's most stable national currencies, such as the US dollar and the British pound, have become more stable. The fact that Bitcoin functions without a central authority is a significant issue. As a result, anyone who makes a mistake with their wallet transaction has no redress. If you transmit Bitcoins to the incorrect person or forget your password, there is no one to turn to. Of course, the arrival of practical quantum computing might derail everything. For example, many aspects of cryptography rely on mathematical computations that are extremely difficult for existing computers to perform. Still, quantum computers work differently and could complete them in a fraction of a second. Let's take a closer look at keys and wallets. It's reasonable that Bitcoin traders and owners would want to take any security precautions they can to safeguard their investments. They achieve this by using keys and wallets. A public key and a private key are the only 2 numbers that determine who owns Bitcoin. A username and a password are rough equivalents to a private key. The one displayed on the blockchain is a hash or the public key called an address. Using the hash adds another degree of protection. It is sufficient for the sender to know your address to receive Bitcoins. The private key is used to generate the public key, which must send Bitcoins to another address. Receiving money is simple, but sending it requires identity verification. A wallet, which is a collection of keys, is used to access Bitcoins. These can take various forms, ranging from third-party web applications that offer insurance and debit cards to QR codes printed on paper. The most crucial contrast is between hot wallets, which are connected to the internet and thus vulnerable to hacking, and cold wallets, which are not connected to the internet and hence not vulnerable to hacking. Most of the BTC stolen in the Mt. Gox case is thought to have come from a hot wallet. Despite this, many users give their private keys to cryptocurrency exchanges, which is effectively a wager that the exchange's defenses against theft will be stronger than those of the user's computer. Please give this video a thumbs up if you enjoy it, and feel free to express your thoughts in the comment section below before we continue to explain how Bitcoin works and how you can buy or accumulate it. What is Bitcoin and how does it work? Each Bitcoin is a computer file kept in a digital wallet on a computer or smartphone with the trading symbol BTC. However, XBT is also used. To understand how Bitcoin works, you'll need to know the following words and some background information. Bitcoin is driven by blockchain, an open source program that produces a shared public record. Each transaction is represented by a block that is chained to the code, resulting in a permanent transaction record. Blockchain technology is at the heart of over 10,000 cryptocurrencies that have sprung up in Bitcoin's wake. For example, a Bitcoin wallet contains both a public and private key, which operate together to allow the owner to initiate and digitally sign transactions, while also giving proof of authorization. Bitcoin miners using high-speed computers, miners or members of the peer-to-peer protocol, independently confirm the transaction, usually within 10 to 20 minutes. For their efforts, miners are compensated in Bitcoin. Let's move on to the next section, how to buy Bitcoin. The post-trust option is your first choice. Despite, or perhaps because of its complete openness, Bitcoin is extraordinarily resistant to tampering. You can't lock a Bitcoin in a safe or bury it in the woods because it has no physical presence. In theory, a criminal would only need to write a line to the ledger that reads, "You paid me all you had to take it from you." Double spending is a related concern. If a bad actor could spend Bitcoin and then spend it again, trust in the currency's worth would soon erode. To perform a double spend, the bad actor would need to control 51% of Bitcoin's mining power. This becomes less feasible as the Bitcoin network grows, since the computer power required would be huge and prohibitively expensive. For the system to work properly, no one needs to know or trust anyone in particular. The cryptographic protocols ensure that each block of transactions is fastened onto the last in a long, transparent, immutable chain, assuming everything is working as it should. Mining. Mining is the process of keeping this trustless public ledger up to date. A network of miners underpins the network of Bitcoin users who trade the cryptocurrency among themselves, recording the transactions on the blockchain. A modern computer can easily record a series of transactions, but mining is tough because Bitcoin software makes the operation artificially time-consuming. As a result, people could spoof transactions to enrich themselves or bankrupt others without the added complexity. They might log in a false transaction in the blockchain and then pile on so many insignificant transactions on top of it that tracing the fraud becomes hard. Similarly, it would be simple to inject false transactions into previous blocks. As a result, Bitcoin would be worthless as the network evolved into a huge, spammy jumble of rival ledgers. Halving. Miners are rewarded with Bitcoin for verifying blocks of transactions, as previously stated. Every 210,000 blocks mined, or roughly every 4 years, the payout is lowered in half. Halving is the name given to this occurrence. The system is designed to be deflationary for the rate at which new Bitcoin is released into circulation. This system is set up so that Bitcoin mining rewards will continue until around 2140, when every Bitcoin has been mined from the code and all the halvings have been completed. Miners will be compensated by fees charged to network users. Healthy competition, it is hoped, will keep rates affordable. Hashes. This is a more technical explanation of how mining works. The latest batch of transaction data is sent to the network of miners who are spread throughout the globe and are not connected by personal or professional relationships. They pass the information through a cryptographic procedure that generates a hash, a string of numbers and letters, that verifies the correctness of the data, but does not expose the data itself. That concludes today's video. Please subscribe and switch on notifications to be notified of future uploads. This is CryptoNow, and we'll see you in our next video.